registrasi ini sudah selesai. Lalu lanjut registrasi ulang dengan kontingen Ikseda. 1. Dimas Tegar, apakah hadir? Dimas Tegar, apakah hadir? Baik, saya lanjut terlebih dahulu. Aubrey Karisa, apakah hadir?
Hadir.
Baik. Lalu untuk Steven, apakah hadir?
Hadir. Hadir.
Baik.
Hadir.
Saya ulang lagi ya untuk Dimas Tegar Ikseda, apakah hadir?
Hadir.
Baik. Untuk registrasi ulangnya sudah dipanggil semua. Dari Regis, sekian. Aku kembalikan ke PJ dan WPJ Debat ya. Terima kasih.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the final round of 2022 OIM English Debate Competition. I'm Shanice Marvela Salem here as the person in charge of English Debate. Would like to thank and congratulate all the participants who have made it this far. Before we proceed to the competition, I would like to remind the participants of the rules which must be obeyed in the competition later. Boleh tolong di next? Pertama, setiap tim diwajibkan untuk mengirimkan perwakilan untuk mengikuti technical meeting. 2, setiap tim diwajibkan untuk mengikuti dummy round. 3, pada saat hari H, setiap tim wajib datang tepat waktu dan mengisi daftar kehadiran yang telah disediakan panitia. 4, panitia berhak untuk mendiskualifikasi peserta yang terlambat hadir lebih dari 30 menit dari jadwal yang ditentukan pada hari H tanpa adanya alasan yang jelas dari pihak kontingen. 5, pada saat hari H, setiap tim wajib hadir tepat waktu dan mengisi daftar kehadiran yang telah disediakan panitia dalam bentuk Google Form. Tolong di next. 6. Jika anggota tim yang bersangkutan benar-benar berhalangan hadir pada saat babak penyisihan karena alasan akademis atau force majeure dapat digantikan oleh mahasiswa aktif sejurusan atau rekan satu timnya boleh melakukan double roll. 7. Anggota tim tidak dapat digantikan dalam semua babak, hanya boleh ada satu anggota yang tidak hadir karena alasan yang telah dijelaskan. 8. Pergantian anggota tim karena alasan akademik harus diinformasikan kepada panitia divisi LO minimal H-1 atau H-24 jam dari berjalannya acara kompetisi debat. Boleh di next. 9. Anggota tim yang bertanding harus sesuai dengan nama yang telah didaftarkan dalam registrasi. 10. Anggota tim dari awal penyisihan debat hingga final harus sama. 11. Apabila pada babak penyisihan terdapat anggota tim yang melakukan double roll, maka pada babak semifinal dan final diperkenankan untuk melengkapi anggota timnya kembali sesuai dengan nama yang terdaftar dalam registrasi. 12. Pergantian anggota saat kompetisi sedang berlangsung tidak diizinkan. 13. Apabila terdapat salah satu kontingen yang berhalangan hadir pada alasan akademik atau force majeure pada babak final, terdapat dua opsi. Yang pertama, 14, tim yang tidak menghadiri salah satu ronde akan mendapatkan victory point 0 dan margin -3 pada ronde tersebut. 15, margin merupakan selisih skor kedua tim yang juga merupakan ketetapan debat. 16, jika terdapat tim yang memiliki victory point yang sama, maka peringkat akhir klasemen akan memperhatikan margin. Apabila margin kedua tim tetap sama, maka peringkat akan ditentukan oleh total skor tiap tim. 17, jika tim yang lolos babak preliminary didiskualifikasi pada semifinal karena anggota tim yang tidak lengkap, maka tim yang berada pada peringkat ke-9 berhak untuk maju ke babak semifinal dan seterusnya. Boleh di next? Berikut adalah beberapa additional guide untuk memperlancar kegiatan lomba nanti. Pertama, apabila peserta kehilangan koneksi internet di tengah-tengah menyampaikan speech, maka peserta yang bersangkutan kami mohon untuk segera menghubungi staf debat Inggris atau LO himpunan masing-masing dengan catatan. Durasi speech di bawah 5 menit, maka kami akan menunggu selama 2 menit. Apabila tidak kembali, dapat digantikan oleh anggota lain. Namun apabila durasi speech telah berada di atas 5 menit, kami juga tetap akan menunggu selama 2 menit, namun tidak dapat digantikan oleh anggota timnya dan speech dianggap sudah selesai. Kedua, sebelum memulai speech, peserta dianjurkan untuk menginformasikan metode POA yang diinginkan peserta, contohnya lebih suka lewat chat atau langsung on mic. 3, peserta dianjurkan untuk melakukan countdown sebelum memulai speech. Contohnya, I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Boleh di next? Berikut adalah beberapa important notes yang kami ingin tekankan lagi. Pertama, pergantian anggota tim hanya dapat dilakukan H-1 dari hari pertandingan pada babak penyisihan. 2, para peserta diharapkan untuk hadir 15 menit sebelum rangkaian acara dimulai. 3, selama perlombaan mulai dari motion preference hingga akhir debat, peserta diharapkan untuk menyalakan kamera. 4, POY baru boleh diberikan dengan izin pembicara. 5, kecurangan dalam bentuk apapun seperti mencari fakta atau data melalui internet akan berujung pada diskualifikasi. Dan ke-6, keputusan juri bersifat mutlak dan tidak dapat diganggu-gugat. So that's all the rules and reminders. Now we are going to proceed into the competition itself with a draw release and motion release session. To the chief adjudicator, the stage is yours.
All right. Hi everyone. So for the draw release, we're gonna do some randomizer. Yeah. Wait, sorry. Okay. Yep, here it is. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can, Kak.
Okay, so I'm gonna put this on a randomizer. I'm gonna randomize it 3 times. So the team that will come in number 1 will be Go and number 2 will be Opia. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so Igni will be Go and Isada will be up for the grand final. Right, great. So we're gonna do the motion release. Yeah, hi everyone, welcome to grand final. Congratulations for making it this far. We talked about some interesting issues for the last 3 days. So today tonight we're gonna be talking about the theme of the entire thing, which is going to be Mother Nature. We're gonna talk about environment. So yeah. The motions for grand final read. Motion number 1, this House believes that all human actions that degrade the environment are immoral. Motion number 2, this House believes that environmentalists should closely work with corporations. Motion number 3, as environmental activists, this House will utilize lawsuits as the main method of holding companies or governments accountable at the expense of grassroots movements. Any questions on the motion?
I want to ask a question about motion number 3. What does at the expense of grassroots movements mean?
Yeah, so it's a trade-off, right? So you're choosing one over the other.
Oh, I see. So we're prioritizing holding companies, government accountable.
Yeah, Gov would utilize lawsuits, Op will utilize the grassroots movements, or further definition will be up to the debate.
Thank you.
Does the second one refer to like for corporations? Does it refer to any corporation or like any specific kinds of corporations?
Up to the debate to define. Any more questions? Gonna be counting to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great, no questions. Then motion preference time starts now. Good luck everyone for the final.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Farah Jofan, and I'm going to be the moderator for this debate with Mari as the timekeeper. Are both teams complete?
Please continue.
Since both teams are complete, now we will continue with motion preference. The 3 motions will be sent by the timekeeper to the chat column. Those 3 are the motions for this round. Please rank your team's motion preference from the most preferred to the least preferred. Like the example given by the timekeeper, the time to discuss the motion preference is 2 minutes, starting now. Okay, the time is up. The debaters may give their motion preferences to the moderator through Zoom private chat. For the opposition team, please send the motion preference to the moderator. Thank you. All right, based on both teams' motion preferences, the motion that will be used in this round is motion number 2. The House believes that environmentalists should closely work with corporations. I would like to remind all participants that all cameras should be turned on during the match, starting from the case building session to the end of the debate. Each speaker is only allowed to unmute themselves when it is their turn to deliver their speech. The chat column is provided for mutual communication and can be seen by all participants. The participants may give their speaker roles, including the reply speaker, to the moderator through chat. you very much. After this, there will be a case building session. The time provided is 30 minutes, and each team will be directed to a different case building room based on the previous draw release. The case building rooms are those which starts with the letter CB. When you are in the case building room, you will be asked to determine the role of each person in your team and fill in the construction of the arguments. After 30 minutes pass, the debaters must go back to this room to continue the debate. Each team is now allowed to go to their case building breakout room, and please note that all participants can only use the breakout room to discuss. Good luck to everyone. 3 minutes will start now. Hello, welcome back everyone. Before we start, I would like to briefly explain this debate's technicalities. Each speaker has precisely 7 minutes and 20 seconds to deliver their speech. Meanwhile, the reply speakers have precisely 4 minutes and 20 seconds. The OI can be proposed within the first to the 6th minute with a delivery time of 15 seconds. The OI requests can be received or rejected by the speaker delivering the speech. First, we would like to welcome the Prime Minister of the government team to start their speech.
Right, okay. I want to make sure I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, okay, great. Thank you. I will be starting my speech.
Wait, can you give me like
Oh,
1
sorry.
minute? Hey, hello.
Oh, okay.
Manage phone
Hey,
call.
No, not your fault. For real, can you give me like 1 minute? I just want to pack my things. Just a minute.
Moderator.
I'm done. Let's go.
All right, I will be starting my
Oh
speech.
yeah, wait. Just one more thing. Don't forget to address your gender pronouns. So like we can be respectful to each other's pronouns before you start your speech.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Good
I
luck.
will. Right. Yeah, my general. Thank you very much. Right. I will be starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. Right. Go ahead. Right. At this day and age, we are no strangers to protests from certain communities against institutionalized groups seemingly in more power. But what if we consider a more efficient, peaceful, and diplomatic alternative than just communities clashing? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for the opportunity to debate today. Tonight, we will be debating under the motion that the House believes that environmentalists should closely work with corporation. My name is Jason Kajapitiadi. My pronouns are he and or him. And today we will be looking at two such communities that we've given. The motion that we'll be debating under is the House believes that environmentalists should closely work with corporation. Now, let's go. In my speech, I will be going through my setup. We'll be giving you definitions and the goal as well as the mechanism, and then I will move on to my substantives. Right. So for the setup, let's start with definitions, right? Let's analyze the actors in play in this motion first. Let's look at the environmentalists, right? What do they want? What we can assume, and we can actually see that environmentalists in general are people with principles that will allow them to act for the benefits for the conservation and sustainability of the environment, right? All that they stand for is for the sake of the environment. We can agree on that first. Now let's look at the corporations, right? And as we believe that this will be the problematic actor in this motion, let's paint a picture that the opposition can be happy with, right? Let's say the corporations are money, power hungry institution that would destroy the environment for the sake of profit, which would be the origin of their clash, the clash of these two communities in the first place, right? But we say that because they are corporations that are big and they are looking towards more profit, they would also be, even though larger corporations are more likely to pollute, they are also more likely to be future oriented, which means that in the next 50 years, they will continue to see how exactly they can continue to profit from their business, right? And this is where our goal would come in later on. But let's look at the last phrase for the definition that we are going to analyze here. That is closely work. Like, what do we mean by closely work here? More on this, on the mechanisms. But let's say the definition of closely work here is that to allow them to be in the office in a decision-making power to veto a decision if it would be too harmful to the environment, if it is too risky a decision or a move for the company in the long run. right? So our goal here is to mitigate the harm, but cooperate together to mitigate the damages as much as possible. And the mechanism of this is to hire a team of environmentalists, being in a division or a department that do not come from a shared company or agency, but rather through personal experiences that went through their personal journeys. They go through their own education and that would have their own opinion. And that does not mean that they are factory printed from the same place. And in a team where diversity is valued, they would have a more dynamic discussion that would bring better decisions for the company as well as for what they stand for as environmentalists. Right. So in it, then the discussion of this team on a certain decision, they would then have a head spokesperson to join a board meeting to represent the division. More on this in my substantives, and that this would bring about more preventive efforts for the corporation rather than curative. More on this again on my substantives. Now let's move on to the substantives, right? So the first substantive that I would bring here is the prevalence of corporate greed, how it is inevitable, and how realistically it cannot be stopped no matter how many protests that we do from outside of the company, right? They want profit, and if it's just going to lead them the bankrupting, then they won't really look much to the protests, right? Protests can continue to be made, but the impact is very fluctuative and not very effective to either the environmentalists or the corporation, right? It's very likely the corporation would only want to look for how this decision would profit, and even in the sense that they would go back or go against the decision. This is also for the sake of preserving their image. And it is not really a permanent in the end. They would have like backhand dealings and so on and so forth. And it would not be possible to stop the capitalistic ways of maximizing profit from the outside for good, right? We can only bring impact when it is brought up within the context of bringing up profits for the company rather than bringing losses. Environmentalists have principles which would allow them to be in the company and would allow them to adhere to the ecological ways. And so here we allow not for just more job opportunities for the environmentalists, but also allow the company to thrive without violating any ecological laws that they have to adhere to, right? So, which leads me to my second substantive, which is why do we hire a group of environmentalists, right? Well, here our concern is more on the fact that there will be less chances of them being corrupted because there would be peer review, right? Here, environmentalists don't protest alone, so you can't say that there are no human resources to fulfill the roles in our mechanism, right? There tend to be huge protesters with lots of people involved. And why make a group for the company, right? How will this benefit the company? Well, will this mean that they will just have to pay more people that would be harmful for them? Well, no, we say that this would benefit the company in the long run because it is an investment for the corporations to thrive within the laws of the ecology, right? They deal less with the governmental or legal problems, which would cost more depending on the situation. They would spend less on damage control that could be more expensive than paying for this team. So this is a long-term investment, ladies and gentlemen. It is very likely also that hiring teams to be more profitable and efficient because projects within the company can only run when a viable team is established. Peer review would also prevent any corruptions, or because there would be a more pressure on the peer review, right? So you won't be able to corrupt a lot the entire division because they also have principles